Today I'm building a modular boat, and many commercial modular boats has interlocking features between two blocks of the boat. But for foam and chloroplast, the material is so soft. In order to create that interlocking feature, I have to do reinforcement at the end of the block or the module. But it takes a lot of design effort and also weight and also cost probably to create such a modular solution. Another design using a hinge allow the boat to fold different way. And then I have a similar issue is the hinge has to be secured to the edge of the block or the module. And I still have to create that reinforcement in order to attach the hinge. Now, I come up with a good idea. I'm probably the first person to implement this idea. And using chloroplast to create a living hinge to tie two modular blocks of the boat together. The idea is very simple. I'm going to use a sheet of chloroplast and glue half of it onto one block of the boat. The other module I glue it to the other part of the boat. And I can fold this one. Using chloroplast as a living hinge is very reliable, and trying to pull it apart takes a lot of force also. How can I attach a chloroplast onto the foam block? And it's very difficult to glue chloroplast onto other objects. I have glued chloroplast on top of another sheet of chloroplast. In one of the kayak, I try to strengthen the bottom. Therefore, I cut another piece and glue it on the bottom of the foldable boat. It is very usable because I'm mainly trying to keep the chloroplast in place. There's not much pulling force in that implementation. But with this particular implementation, there's a force pulling it apart. So I have to figure out how to handle that kind of tensile force. Let's talk about this piece of chloroplast. When I glue this one at the bottom of the foam, basically it protected the foam. That's why I can use this method to replace the Pullman's fiberglass implementation. As on the side of the foam block, the module, because it's only 4 inches thick, and I can easily, using Gorilla Tape, to cover it up. On the top, I still have to protect the foam because I may step on it, scratch on it. But to protect the top would be very easy because there are many options. You can use styrene sheet, vinyl fabrics, and many other material which can glue onto the foam very easily. Then talk about the hinge itself now. Going back to talk about the hinge. How can I handle the tensile force, the pulling force between two blocks? Especially when it's in the water, it may tend to pull it apart. Firstly, I have a tape to tape the edges, holding this in place. In addition, I will using a zip tie, those thicker one, to go through the chloroplast, through the foam, secure this piece of chloroplast onto the foam block. I will add another reinforcement sheet. It could be another piece of chloroplast to reduce the stress of the zip tie on the foam. And I believe this will work. In addition, after I do that, I also have a platform on top where I have a lashing trying to hold two pieces together. That means when I fold it this way for storage, and when I unfold it for usage, I still have another platform on top to prevent this block from going up or down using lashings. This is the early idea I have. Now take a look at the second method. I happen to have a sheet of a recycled corpus for my Gen 3 catamaran, which basically is one of the pontoons. I use it to create a shell where I can stuff 2 blocks into this corpus shell. This implementation is faster for me because I don't have to think about what material I should use. I will use corpus too, the same sheet of corpus, cover the top, bottom side. The minus is, it is heavier. I add another 10 pounds because I'm using the 6mm thick corpus. If you have a 4mm thick corpus, it would be easier to implement, lighter, less expensive. The hinge design would be strong enough if you have 4mm thick corpus. For the 4mm thick corpus, the weight may be 6 to 7 pounds rather than 10 pounds, the one I have. To create the living hinge, basically it's making a fold line, a simple fold line. I apply heat and then I use a roller to create that fold. I tried a simple test of the hinge. I placed the foam blocks inside the corpus shell and then I secure them with lashings. Next, I try to fold 2 blocks together and the hinge feels pretty solid. The next step is I try to unfold the boat and try to lift it from one end and see if the whole boat moves as one unit. So far it looks good. I should be able to carry it like a huge backpack also. Because I'm adding a layer of corpus on top of the foam body of the boat, the overall length and width of the boat is slightly bigger. I'm glad it can still fit inside my car. In my next video, I will talk about how I create a mount for the pedal drive. Thanks for watching. If you find this video interesting, please help me to grow my channel, subscribe to my channel, give me a like, give me feedback. Please stay tuned for my update in designing this Gen 18. Bye.